Test, test, test. Happy, happy, happy Thursday. So today is Thursday. And yeah, what a no, it's today Thursday. Holy moly. Yeah, it's Thursday. Yesterday, holy moly, what happened there, right? So let's start it slow though. Today, Thursday, 9th of April. Today we have some economic news numbers coming up in a few hours, so keep this in mind, okay? But let's dive right into it. This is the chart of the development of the last days. So Nasdaq quite strong. Yesterday went through the roof, went through the supply zone, what we defined and talked about here. And yeah, because of rumors and that's a small ceasefire here in the US. I think when I did yesterday's update, I think I caught it quite well. I said, hey, we look overextended, and in these, let's say, vertical moves, it's not so simple to say, hey, this is exactly the top, this is exactly the bottom, and it doesn't even make sense to try to fish the top or the bottom. Okay, but let's look into this a little bit further. Okay, let's look into the development yesterday of the trading behavior. As you can see, in the night we rallied up, and when the market opened, this was here. So here was the market open. Actually, selling came in, and since then we haven't been able to make a new high. Kind of expected, and this is kind of this nasty stuff which is going on right now. Yeah, can we hold? So we try to build now a zone around here, around the 25,000 point area. Will this hold or not? And I want to talk about one thing right now. Let's have a look at the regular trading session, okay? And we have a gap which is crazy huge. Pre-market, we trade around this area right now, around here. And we need to see if the gap fill is being at let's say if the market tries to fill the gap or not. To me, this gap looks honestly unhealthy. It looks unhealthy to me. This looks not sustainable, and sooner or later, I guess sooner, we will try to at least close a little bit of the gap, and then let's see. That's how I see the market right now. Do we have the opportunity and the chance to actually move up here to this 25,500 area? Yes, we do, but I don't buy it. Okay, I don't buy it. Me personally, I really have issues to really buy into this long move drastically. So if I trade long, I trade very small. If I trade short right now, I also trade very small, just to get in some points, to get in some money. But in the end, conviction level to both sides is not really high. My intuition would tell me I want to short towards the gap fill. Okay, that's something what I actually would like to do. This would be a move I would love to do. But in the end, I'm also not willing to really bet fully against it, because in the end, who am I to try to predict the future? So I'm not sure. So the gap is actually here. So we have around this 460, 480 area. We have something to keep in mind about the regular trading session, and in the end, this is a huge gap we have to consider. Right now, market tries to stabilize, tries to confirm this kind of low. I have a small long position open, but I've been very small, because I'm just not convinced that this will hold. But we will see. Okay, we will see what will actually happen in the next couple of days here. If I would need to bet, I would bet towards a gap fill to the south. But this is something we will need to check. Okay, let me sort this out here. Okay, so again, huge gap. And when we look back, obviously we have gaps. So here we had another gap which was about 200 points. So something which is definitely not comparable. Here was a gap, 180 points. And this was a kind of a breakaway gap here, what we saw. Okay, so here, breakaway gap, 180 points. The market then tried to attempt a gap fill at the market open regular trading session and then broke out to the upside, and that's a move which looks more sustainable. There's still a gap, so I'm still not convinced that we will go down like to this level again. Actually, I think that we will do, but overall, this here again was a confirmed low in the regular trading session, which I'm kind of buying and understanding. Okay. Here though, let's say when we had on this day, we had a gap down. Actually, this was then a Wednesday to Thursday move, huge gap down, and we closed that gap immediately. So we understood, hey, there is buyers coming in, and we were able to hold. And since then, the market went higher. But this gap here, what we had here, in my book, it's too huge to maintain open. And I am considering something what we saw here. There was a 260, 280 point gap, which was then closed in the next couple of sessions. This is something what I'm expecting. Timing-wise, it's not simple. But again, I will not trade heavily on the long side right now. Very, very small. Okay, that's what I'm doing right now. I mean, do your own research, but overall, I think this is something to consider, that there's a huge gap involved. If you just would look at the daily chart though, if you just would look at the daily chart and not consider the huge gap involved, then the story looks different. Then because then here this 460 level, 450 level is definitely on the agenda, and this is something what we need to see. So it's kind of dicey, but in the end, here would be a target to the upside if the market remains bullish. Can this happen? Yes, it can. Where's the best the tactic to get involved in reality when we have a red to green move today? So right now, as you can see, we are red. Candles are, let's say, the day is still a little bit negative. If we can get enough buyers involved to activate them, then we could try it out, okay? To try out a small long position during the regular trading session. Other than that, I would trade very small, and I think it just makes sense. We have the same picture here in the S&P. Here, it was even a little bit more interesting, in my opinion, because we ran into this supply zone here, okay? Let's look into this a little bit more. We did run into this supply zone, okay? So demand, and actually here, in my opinion, supply. Okay, we really hit that level, and I think we saw that the 6,850 level, we found some sellers, guys willing to sell, and here we have as well a huge gap in the regular trading session, which I believe looks unhealthy. So 120 points. I think we will go down, and I'm just not certain if we will not try out to, let's say, to go to maybe 20 points higher here, maybe to the 6,880. But this is it for me. Then I will try to look for short, more a swing basis. So so if I would have to make a guess, I will try to establish a short position on the swing basis here. Okay, that's kind of what I have in mind. If we hit that level, the 6,880 level, I will try to get a short position in. Obviously, stop has to be like this, but then I would really look for a trade really with a nice reward risk. And I think this is something which is not so unlikely. Okay, so that's my overall game plan. I mean, Dow looked kind of the same, moved up. We haven't reached this target zone here. This is the supply zone. Here we have the similar picture. What we saw here, demand, and then turn supply. Okay, that's all the same game over and over again. And oops. But I just believe that there's a potential that we go there, and this would give the S&P a little bit more room to the upside. Okay, so intermarket analysis is quite important. When we have a look at gold, I think gold, I kind of analyzed quite well. I traded it not too great, I have to admit, especially on that day here on the Tuesday. I traded it quite bad. I was long, but I was a little bit over leveraged, so I had to I had a negative trade there, but part of the game, sadly. Gold, I still believe that we will go higher. Yesterday's trade, though, seems like we have the ability to maybe go a step lower. So this would be kind of my ideal scenario for gold. Okay, this is kind of my playbook here. And crude oil obviously is a crazy move down yesterday quite a bit. And honestly, guys, I would still trade it long on the very short, very small positions. And timing wise, it's not so simple, because actually we have reached this target, kind of what I had in mind again. But we can definitely go $5 lower, and then we will go up. Will we go up? Yes, I think so. Will we go up to 130? Yes, I think so. It's volatile, and the markets are volatile. And when we look at the tweets, what Trump basically posts, I think it's obvious that that the world kind of became crazy. One day there's peace, the other day they wanna bombard everything. I think it's just very sad what's going on, and yeah, we have to live with this right now. I just hope that everybody is kind of safe and healthy, and yeah, that we are able to go back to a normal life soon for everybody, especially in the Middle East, obviously. When we look at the crypto space, we saw that the market started to rally here on the Tuesday as well. Came back a little bit yesterday. I still haven't given up that we are able to go there. So this is really my target for Bitcoin. I have sold my Bitcoin short position 2 days ago, I think. Was a nice trade to the downside. On the short, I made about 20,000 on the down move. I think average entry was 106,000. Then now I've closed it. Don't really have another futures position open right now. Also not in Ethereum. Ethereum I traded a couple of days ago, so around that area. But since then I haven't traded it. No new news there. And Solana, though the weaker one, I mean, in Solana we have, in my opinion, a pretty clear pattern. So that's just my opinion here. So if Solana breaks here, if we break here in Solana, then we have pain going on. So we have about how much is it, a $4 stop. But if we can recover towards the $100 area, then we get a nice reward risk 4.5. So this is something to consider. Okay, a 2.8 if you take today's trade. So a 2.83 is definitely achievable if you are a bull here. Other than that, when we have a look at the German DAX, again, the same kind of scenario with the gap, already attempts the gap fill. Yeah, don't really know. Doesn't really look, in my opinion, easy to read. Okay, easy to read because the gap is too significant. In the DAX, German FDAX, how much was the gap? 400 points. Don't think that this is sustainable. So it kind of asks at least for a little bit of more pullback. And yeah, we will have to see. We will have to see. Trading wise goes quite well. I'm actually quite happy. Payouts also this month on Lucid, quite nice. So already 2 payouts in. 6th of April, 7th of April there. I've got a couple of payouts in this on Apex already. But also be honest there, on Alpha Futures, it's another prop firm. I kind of don't like them, and I failed. So I think I burned around 1,000. Yeah, I burned 1,000 there, and part of the game as well to fail. All right, guys, wishing you all the best. Have a great trading day. Keep in mind, we got news coming in a few hours. Yeah, and be prepared for a gap fill. That's my position right now. And remember, to have no position can also be a position. All the best. Goodbye.